Patriarch Camilla Amitiel at Bay, and we, the imperial Cherokee nation of Moors, declare that all beings of an inheritance of power shall resign, be removed, and we offer them no repentance for their sins against the Most High Elohim's divine words in the Aboriginal Moors, areas of the land of Moors. We declare that all impostors, fiduciaries, trustees, and beneficiaries of the UGODSS Corporation and all political bodies that have been over our vast estate in the Americas shall be removed. And that means all of their organizations, fraternal orders, sororities, no matter what they have brought here, they need to take it with them, because they can't stay here, because we live here in peace and we're not having any wickedness. We have lived with wickedness, so we don't want wickedness. We want peace on our earth plane. And turn over the keys to the White House and Buckingham Palace to the Moors that created them. All those secret societies holding on to our words left by our ancestors for us, our lost books, hidden culture, and the knowledge of our connection to our cosmic and earthly creators. Our ancestors who left us an inheritance of teachings and instructions. These violating impostors must correct their wrongs, or else all violators shall be punished pursuant to the Aborigine Moors Charter and Fee Schedule, and their heirs and their children's children's children shall be cursed and be made to pay back their forefathers' debt to we, the Aborigine, and our heirs only in perpetuity, and so on to infinity. So it is, so it is, so it is. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I yield.
So it is, so it is, and so it is. Ashe, 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 wow. Who's going next?
Does this sound any better?
Yes, when I was on the line, I had a lot of that feedback, and it seemed to have left, but it came right back.
Because we have stalkers in the midst. Y'all
Okay.
prayers. You have to keep up your prayers to keep them, and the ancestors can do it all. They can do whatever we ask them to do. Keep these people off our phone. They are in violation. They shall not spy or commit espionage against us. Consume them into dust, whoever it is, whoever ordered them to do it, and carry on with your day. But you have to clear your path, Imperial Moors. You are the subject. You are the subject of the hour. They watching everything we do. Keep up your powers. Invoke your powers in everything you do. Ashe.
Ashe, 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 wa. Will do.
Okay.
Keep it up. Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna try this again. Hold on, let me try to pull this up again. Okay. Shamu Nasiel, with the powers vested in me, with my masculine and feminine Shekinah powers within, invoke the Holy Spirit of truth to break, dissolve, and cut all soul ties in the spirit realm and astral plane attached to me and my family and the family of the Moors that are ungodly and do not serve our highest and best good. Shamu Nasiel, we, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, cancel, remove, and destroy all altars made in my image and likeness, and our image and likeness. Shamu Nasi Collins L. We, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, break, remove and destroy all rituals that have been brought against us in the astral plane, spirit realm, all spells, curses, all spells, curses, hexes, and rituals are now bound up, destroyed, and sent back to the senders forever with death and curse. I, Shamunasi Kalanzel, we, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, sever and destroy all spiritual agreements and contracts that we have entered into knowingly and unknowingly that has hindered the Moors, my life, my family's life, past, present, and future. I cancel, destroy, dissolve any and all attack brought against me in the dream state that may have attached itself to me or my family. I break all generational curses brought against me and my family. All generational curses against me and my family are broken. All generational curses against me and my family are hereby dissolved. I cut, sever, and cancel all soul tie agreements and contracts made along my family line that are ungodly and do not serve our highest and best good. I, Shamunasiel Collinzel, we, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, release the wealth, riches, gold, instructions, and wisdom held for us in the astral plane. Let it rain down to our palms and in our minds, in the physical manifestation. I, Shamunasi Collinzel, we, the Cherokee Nation of Moors, declare that all beings sitting in our seats of power shall resign and be removed, for there is no repentance of their sins. No repentance of their sins shall be given. No repentance of their sins shall be given against the Most High Elohim's words. And the Aboriginal Moors, landlords of the land of Mu, I, Shamu Nasi Kalinzel, and we, the Cherokee Nation of Moor, declare that all impartial fiduciaries, trustees, and beneficiaries of the U.S. corporation and all political bodies within that have been over our vast estate in the Americas shall be removed and turned over the keys to the White House and Buckingham Palace, certain and sudden death to all those secret societies, the authors of colonialism, their spell, hex, curse of their constitution, their oath takers, oath keepers, daughters of the Nile, daughters of ISIS, all fraternal orders, U.S. intelligence agencies, National Institute of Health, Centers for Disease Control, Anthony Fauci, the NIH, and their ancient method of biological warfare to control and conquer with their ring and network. Eastern Stars, Knights of York Rite, Scottish Rite, Sisterhoods of the Scottish Rite, Ku Klux Klan, Proud Boys, Dark Brotherhood, Sisterhoods, Knights Templar, who are holding on to our words left by our ancestors, our hidden books, hidden culture, and knowledge of our connection to our cosmic and earthly creators, and our ancestors who left us an inheritance of teachings and instructions. These violating impostors must correct their wrongs, or else all violators shall be punished pursuant to the Aborigine Moors Charter and fee schedules, and their heirs and children's children's children shall be cursed and made to pay back their forefathers' debt to we the Aborigine Moors and our heirs, only in perpetuity, so on and so on to infinity. So it is, so it is, and so it is. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe.
So it is, so it is, and so it is, and it shall forever be. Ashe, 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 Wa.
Ashe. That
Right.
wasn't.
I yield. Open conversation.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead. You were
I don't
saying
know what
something.
happened. I don't know what happened to. I had a. I got one that I reworked. That's not it. Hold on a second, because I wanted to share it.
You can say Knights of Malta. I heard you about to say it and you stopped.
Yeah, and see, I got one where all of that's out of it. I don't know what I ain't too swift with the. I'm
Only
learning. Let's put it like that.
only one taken out is the Knights of Columbus.
Right. I took all that out on my other one. I just gotta find out what I.
Because that's the Collins family. That's your family line that
Mm-hmm.
was unaware. Now they are aware. So we have to take them out, the ancestors said.
And
They
you
are
know,
not.
in that Collins family,
Mm-hmm.
go all the way to Savannah and Augusta, but there's another family that's intertwined, and that's my middle name, and that family is Tucker, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to,
Did you
huh?
know that? Did you know that? The Tunicas, they came onto this land and married into the rulers who's already here. The Collins family came from Italy to
Mm-hmm.
over, and they started mixing in with the tribes. And Tunica was one of the Tunica and Washita, was one of the dominant tribes in the South. I'm from Tunica. My
Mm-hmm.
great grandmother on my daddy's side was Tucker. Were Turners. They changed their names to Turners, Tucker, whatever, to
Mm-hmm.
change their names so they could survive. This is what was going on heavily in the South because they was killing the heirs and those who owned the land.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your middle name. That's something that we did, that I found out through the revelation of my great great grandmother. You always carry both family names, just like
Mm-hmm.
she's America. Her first name was America Maxima. Her first name was America, and her last name was Maxima. But America is the family name, the namesake of this land. You see, and
Mm-hmm.
or they use the last name, both names.
Mm-hmm.
Just like she revealed to me that I'm Percy Maxima. That was her husband, but her name, the Maxima name, the more prominent name, and the name that follows the mother goes last. But you always had both names of your family lineage. It's not like they did over here where they made us drop the mother's name. They knew that was the power and that was the connection to the land, and everything followed the matriarch. So we have to really come back and bring our ancestors' ways back to our people because they unaware, and that's how they lost who they really were. One of the ways.
Mm-hmm. I
You
just put
know,
in,
you said Tucker.
yeah, I just put in the chat something that I ran across um,
Mhm.
from 1619. What is the date?
Mm. Yeah, these were all of our names. All of
Mm-hmm.
our names, just like the lineage of Emperor Charles II here in the South. They had those names. Those are not ain't nothing these pale faces created. All they did was came onto the land, stole, they assumed the names of prominent people and started killing off the heirs and assumed that family's land and prominence. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they did.
Mm-hmm. See that William name, that first name in my family, right? I got a Wilhelmina, which was a great grandmother. My grandfather, who I've already said, was the president of Liberia. His first name was William. Um, and then I look at this article here. There's like two Williams in it. So um, when you start looking back, you start looking at the North American British colony. There's one where it says the William Tucker 1624 society is managed by the Tucker family, which traces its bloodline to the 17th century in the North American British colony. The lineage begins with the first recorded birth of an African child in those colonies in 1624, believed to be ancestor William Tucker. Well, if it was a British colony, that means that the nobles, wherever the British were in Europe, were of African or melanated descent. They put
Okay.
it in your face.
Now that you got a little seed of the truth, now it's being revealed to you. Now you can see you can read between the lines, right?
Yep, yep, yep. If you say an African child was from was in the British, and then
You muffled. Can't hear you, Nova.
okay, I'm sorry. What about now?
Yeah,
I
better.
might need to turn it down. Let me turn it.
There's my cousin, the Pharaoh.
Peace and love.
What's up, Rain?
Oh, nothing.
Can you believe we was connected all this time?
I can
Wow.
because I don't know. It's just how everything just feels so natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Michael are from Tahuti, and he wears his hair in long locks like yours also. When I first met him, I looked at him and I told the Moors, because he used to come to the building we was at, I told the Moors, I said, this one right here is ancient. He a lineage of King Charles. And I just innately said that. Come to find out, it's true. This was before I was really getting into divination and stuff. He wears his curly. He be curling. He's real eccentric, brother Michael. The youngin Jamez can tell you about him. He's funny. He went to visit him all the while he was here, but he's real eccentric. He's in the hood, but you can tell he's different. He a more always wearing. He got his own way about his. And y'all, y'all both got these locks, the same. That's your heritage. Because they used to call King Charles, they used to call, his name is Emperor Charles. They used to call him Dread Lord.
Yeah, I've seen that Dread Lord.
He had dreads. So that told that, in the lingo, in the language, it tells you who they are. And he was here from England in the 1600s. This was the family from British issuing out land to their own people. It wasn't, when we think British, we've been put in the mindset to think Albion, to think paleface. No, these palefaces didn't get here on this planet until 600 years ago. They wasn't even here in the 1600s.
Right. So we was the redcoats.
It's everything they talking about was us fighting each other for power or something like that. It was a family fight over land. They squabbling over land. It was never no fight for independence that even happened in the 1700s. None of that happened. They had to inject themselves into timelines to keep up with the fraud they was telling, to make us think that we wasn't here, or this is not our land, we all from Africa, blah blah blah. That is the whole big illusion that they did in the media, because they controlled it in the books, in the history, and even in the Bible and Quran. So now that we in this age of revelation, Everything is coming out. Everything is coming back to us and to our remembrance through the Akashic record. They can't, there's nothing they can do to hide it no more. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Empress, what you just what you just explained, I guess, is the reason why I've been kind of led in my prayers and my rituals to this, what I call spell of colonialism, because the people are actually, it's like they believe, you were just saying, none of that, they injected themselves and their his story into the timeline, but everybody believes it. And when I say everybody, okay, let me just say the masses believe it. You know, you start talking about, I had an old white guy that was trying to talk history, and one of my friends, he told me to come down there. When I got down there, the guy who has the air hanger, he asked me to listen. The guy started with George Washington, right? And when he started, I let him talk. And then the guy with the airport hanger said, "What you think about that, Sam?" And I said, well, he started with George Washington. That's where his history begins. I pulled out my phone and I pulled out the 1828 Webster and showed him who was here before George Washington. And then I pulled out the etymology 1540 and showed him how that even preceded the 1828 Webster. And then I looked at him and said, his history starts in the 1800s. Mine precede that by 400 years. And if we look further, it's probably by 45,000 years. Whenever I said that, the guy with the airport hanger said, well, I guess that just about sums up this history lesson for today, right? And we started laughing. The guy his face was so red because he was one of them, you know, you can tell who he was. He wanted to spit that old foul history, right? But I told, and before I left, I say, it's always amazed me how his story is history, but my story is a mystery. You know what I'm saying? And I just show facts. Normally I get all hyped trying to show him, you know, but I mean, if you're going to start with George Washington, you got to talk about John Henson and the rest of the fellows who was still in this. Our ancestors still had the government. The 1868 South Carolina Constitution is called the Radical Constitution of South Carolina. Go and look. I'm gonna put it up and put it in the chat. I'm gonna show you why they call it the Radical Constitution, and remind you that that's 2 years after the 1866 Civil Rights Act, and then the same year of the 14th Amendment. But in 1868, South Carolina was still controlled.
1960, there was a Civil Rights Act, right?
When you say Empress?
You talking about the Declaration for Independence of the Aborigine Indigenous Inhabitants? It started in 1960. 1866, we wasn't even dealing with no civil right. That didn't even exist back then. Remember what I just said now. They didn't come, okay, these pale faces did not come to this continent of the Americas until 1901.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the history, so remember this when you studying, they always either added or subtracted 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like with the history of the Indian killer, Andrew Jackson, they said he was here in 1830. Impossible. I did divination to look into that. because I already knew that just by studying the archives, nothing is adding up with what the history books say that they taught us in school. This don't even, is not even making no sense. So I divinated about it. And he was here in the 1930s. It wasn't 1830 how they got it all online in Wikipedia. The Indian killer, Andrew Jackson, was here in 1930. All this stuff started happening in 1901 when they got here and started ravaging the South through the Indian Wars, brought about at the hand of a British royal, which was Victoria Maximum, who had brought all these pale faces out the mountains to do her bidding. They couldn't even speak or write, really. A few of them she taught. They just came over here and started ravaging the land. They was the barbarians and the savages. So everything they did and everything they said, they flip-flopped it and start putting out into the media that we was the savages.
Mm-hmm.
To get the mindset off of them and what they were doing, being cannibals, savages, barbarians, and barbaric behavior is what they was doing, and they never changed. They just cleaned themselves up and put their people in suits, police, firemen, paramedics, some raised up to be nurses, doctors, lawyers, and judges. But they all was working for the interests of those that came onto the land and conquered us. That was done by a member of the royal family, but it's just like any of the army. They became knights for that cause and for that mission. They was granted the spoils of war. So they was controlling the land. You see? So just know that 100 years was injected. Either subtract or add 100 years when you go and cross-reference, and always check the archives, the national and world archives. They have the real events and the timeline of those events. Ashe.
I say, I put in the chat, Empress, look at that, what I sent in the chat, and you get a chance, tell me what you think about that.
Okay. Let me see.
What did y'all say happened in y'all said 1624?
16. Oh yeah, that was that actually was the article I put in the chat about the Tucker family, which is yeah.
In 1609, that's when the King James version was transcribed. And then in 1611, 2 years after the King James version was described, that's when Jamestown, Virginia was started. King James version, then they had Jamestown right after that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So it seemed like the Bible is like the charter.
Yeah, but listen to this. That's not the true date.
Uh-huh.
Checked into that as well.
Right.
All this stuff happened in 1800. So it's probably 300 years for the Bible. They did that because they wanted to make you feel like it was ancient.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because
into it, and because the Israelites, it sees the Cyprios, Africanus, who conquered Akebulan. That was in the 1900s.
right. I think they were saying if you do the math correctly, I think we're like year 1490 something right now. So the 16s haven't even happened yet.
Yeah, that's the ancestors told me. They've been giving it to me. I'm putting together these tablets.
I love
It's
it.
gonna rock the world. It's gonna rock the world. They ain't gonna be able to take it, but it's the truth.
That's some new testimonies. Every age has testimonies. This is the new
Huh?
testimonies right now.
Ashe.
I say.
Yeah, they giving it to me, and it's the straight up truth from the spirit. And they all the family, the family who overturned the empire, they altered that Bible for a reason. This was all in the same family line, and they killed off their own people. They killed off the elders who was keeping them in line to follow the law. They went and killed every last one of them and taught these cave dwellers how to do sorcery. Sent 2,000 of them to kill my great grandparents here in America. That's how they overturned the queen. We the most powerful people on earth. How could we have fallen like that? This was done from the inside out. It wasn't only Victoria Maximum. It was other family members throughout the Tahuti. The Tahuti is the root of the tree with many different branches. So most of those 13 families of nobility come from that Tahuti root of that tree.
Mm-hmm.
You had a branch in Rome, Italy. You had a branch in Persia. You had a branch in Kemet. That's where we all branched out from.
Mm-hmm.
Kemet. As they branched out into the world, they still was the owners of the land. Tahuti, that's the beginning of time. The Tahuti family lineage. But everywhere they went, they changed their names when they came out of Africa. The ones still in Africa still was going by Tahuti. That's why they didn't change. That's why they didn't put the names in the Bible. They didn't want you to know, because they know that that's the ruling power on the land. That's the law. And they decided to go against the law. So they had to be in consort and with each other. These family members throughout the world that was a part of this conspiracy, mainly the Holy Roman Empire. That's why that if you read the story, the Pope that they locked up was the real Pope, and they came forward with a new Pope. Remember that? Y'all read that about the Holy Roman Empire? You can go back and read that. When they talking about the Holy Roman Empire, I think I saved it. I might have sent it to you, Shamu, because we was talking about something. But as I'm reading what the history that they didn't put out, I can decipher now because I know the truth. So that's why I'm able to dissect it so readily now. And then whatever I don't know, I just divinate about it, and the ancestors give it right to me. But that's what happened. The Farnese family at Rome, Italy, that's a branch of the Tahuti. America, the owners of this land, that's a branch of Tahuti. You going back millions of years though. But they
So
always married into the same family line to keep the power. Just like my great-great-grandmother married into the Percy family. They was the Tahuti in Persia. Follow me?
mm-hmm.
So they always kept that family line. That's why the Percys, the Persia, they the namesake of Persia, just like America is the namesake of my family.
Mm-hmm.
America named after the land, but they kept it in the family line. Even though you distant cousins, but that's a rule they had. Keep that in the family line. That's the way it is. That's the way it was. And always we should keep it that way. Just like I just found out my husband is of the Tahuti. This is how I know he was we divinely came together. And he's been my husband many lifetimes. I already knew that, but they just told me he's a Tahuti. And his family lineage owned the Gambia, Mauritania, and Guinea Pa. One of them. So the Tahuti are the landlords. We the landowners of different parts of the world. I mean, the whole world. We was the first family. This is our continent. This is our planet, basically. If you are Tahuti, wherever you are in the world, you can go somewhere and claim that land. That's why they was able to do that from British, wherever they was, come here. This is their family. All they got to do is say, grant me that, or whatever the case may be. That's why they was emperors. They wasn't labeled kings. We didn't use that. All of this has been distorted to throw us off. If you own lands in different continents and different countries and territories, you're an emperor or an empress. You're not a king. So when they say King James came here and he was from British and King Charles was here, there, and everywhere, you're not properly terming him. He was an emperor. You see, this is where it all gets confusing to the reader and those looking onlooking. They don't understand the law. So the law, I'm being the vessel to bring back the law. That's why I know this. This is why I'm here, to bring back the law. And all of these things that I'm talking about is the law. That's the law. Ashe.
Okay.
Ashe.
Hey,
I say, look at those blue skies. It got
Yeah,
dark.
I've been having to ask the ancestors. Goddess Diana is who we pray to, family, especially in the Tahuti family. Goddess Diana is your deliverer. She's the mother of all nations. And so the skies is clear and blue today with no white streets and no white clouds and nothing like that, because I've been really honing in and asking her, and she takes care of it immediately, quicker than any of the others. That's why when I was given a prophecy around the age of 29, and I have the recording, the lady told me, her name was Janet Floyd. She came to Prophet Wayne T. Jackson's church. That's where I was going at the time. And she pulled me out of the audience and she started prophesying to me. I was getting a lot of prophecies during this time. And she was telling me that, yeah, you will have more money than you know what to buy, more money than you know what to do with before the age of 40. And God said, live for me. And Diana, she just came out of the blue and said, and Diana, you know Diana. And I had no clue who this lady was talking about. Been looking for Diana for 20 years almost. Now I know who she was talking about. The ancestors was bringing a message through this woman all this time that I should have been praying. That's my deliverer. I was lost. Oh, I was so lost at that time too. But that's my deliverer. They wanted me to know that's who you go to, your ancestor, your great mother. Goddess Diana is the one who answers your prayers, not some mystery God in the sky. you don't even know, never seen. You just see pictures of what they showing you. So that's what it is, family. That's what the ancestors been giving me. And I mean, they giving it downloads. What I wanted to tell y'all earlier, and I didn't get a chance to type it in the chat group. You need to look into the sky every day. I do it around 5 o'clock, but anytime the sun is at its highest every day, before you talk to anybody, you want to put some herbs on your pineal gland and look. You ain't gonna be able to look, but you're gonna have your eyes closed and you're gonna have your face pointed up to the sun. And that's when you put in your prayers. If you don't have the herbs, you lick your finger and you put your saliva right there on your pineal gland so that sun can activate it. Your essence, your saliva, they know it's you. That's what they did with the gold, Rain. Did you get my email about the gold?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I responded to the email too.
Girl, I was worried about that because I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get all of this gold by myself? Me and my 2 children in our hands, we can't possibly do that. We got to get the Tahuti together to come together and to retrieve our ancestors' belongings. They are, being held in various places. I got all the places that the ancestors gave me. Of course, one of them is the Vatican. So only us can touch it. That's why it's still there where they left it thousands of years ago and hundreds of years ago. Particularly here in America, 120 years ago.
So how do you put it in a depository? You build a deposit. What's your think? I know they built the depository in Texas about 8-10 years ago.
Yeah, but
And
that's not our family goal. The one I'm talking about is what the Tahuti lineages left here on this planet for a specific reason. It wasn't to spend. They told me it's not for you to spend. And I'm like, well, what's the purpose? And they like, no,
that's the
it's
energy.
it's the energy. There you go.
I noticed something when I was really a young man in my 20s. I noticed every now and again you would have a pilgrim that wore gold, but you very seldom saw him wearing it. We always wore gold and silver, and that was even before I came into any kind of knowledge. I would notice that the melanated folks wore that gold and that silver.
My mother was one of them. My mother had on every finger, all around her neck, double earring, gold. Yeah. Yep.
It's the energy. That's what it is. In fact, I don't know a lot about the Anunnaki, but from what I understand of what I've read, gold was the central energy source. But I'm just now getting into that knowledge. You know, but I know gold plays a central part in the story. Peace.
That's what they told me. And our ancestors are the Anunnaki. The Tahuti are the Anunnaki. They're the ones who brought this cave dweller here. And they was in the mountains for almost 470 years before one of the heirs brought them out and kept them out. They was only supposed to come out to work and do labor. She brought them all out so that they could carry out her plan. But the Anunnaki is the ones who brought them from different planets. The dark ones came from, they more like they look more like us, but these people are not even of the same DNA. The light ones and the dark ones, they don't even have a liver or a spleen or a pineal gland, pituitary gland, any of our organs. They're totally different from us. They look like they got 2 legs and they walk like us, but this is the problem we having with our people being abducted and missing to the tune of millions every year. These people need, this is the only way they can survive. And this is why they smell so bad, because they just like an animal. They sweat out their toxins through their skin. We have got to really get them off of this planet. They are destroying us. They are parasitic beings. I sent y'all my education on that. These people are beasts, monsters. This is why we in the last few years have been hearing about them in these hospitals and people being dragged in by the police and taking them in there to get the valves of their blood. If you remember them videos that people was posting, how they just taking their blood without their permission and injecting them without their permission with different things in the last few years, because they on their last leg. Their trafficking is being monitored and stopped. When Trump was in there, they had that task force to stop all that trafficking. They're not able to get them bodies like they were before. So they desperate. This is why the ancestors, the spirit told me to tell everybody, keep your children close to you. Keep them close to you until we get these people off of this land, worldwide, everywhere, this planet. They sucking our blood and our people dry. And all of these people going missing and ain't never being detected where they are, they being consumed. That's why they can't be found. This is what we dealing with. The beast living among us. And we never knew it. This is the beast that Victoria Maxima unleashed on us and taught them how to go undetected with magic for so long. She knew that they cannibals. They have to eat each other. They was in the mountains eating each other to survive. They have a thirst for meat, human meat and blood, and ours sustains them. That's why they've been able to survive for so long. She taught them how to, before they start mind manipulating her with the knowledge they got from Emperor Solomon Tahuti. She taught her lover. She pulled one of them out of the cave and took a liking, and she taught him how to go undetected if he have to kill somebody and take their liver and their spleen. That's how they surviving, because they don't have one. This came to me during this time. Micah L's little cousin was snatched by her mother and never brought back home. And I immediately, when he told me this a couple of months ago, I immediately asked him, was she pale face? He said, yeah, her mother is. She's mixed. So this is a beast that could do this to their own child. Had never seen the baby. The dad had the baby for 4 years and had her since she was 3 months old for whatever reason. The baby wanted to meet her mother. She came, met them to the baby's 4th birthday party, met her one time, and the baby wanted to go home with her and begged the dad. And well, the mother coerces her, saying, you want us to give you a party? We can have another party. This blip takes this baby, and her mother starve the baby. Get missing for months. Never answer the dad's call. Didn't even know. I was so pissed because I'm like, why would you let your baby go with this woman? You don't even know where they at. You don't even know her like that. If you done had this baby for 4 years, ain't no way you should have let her go. But anyway, that's another story. So they take the baby, gone for months, and don't nobody know where she at. Some months go past. One of the family members spot the mother. Like, I see she's down the street around the corner from Micah L. So everybody, the dad go over there, keep going over there, calling the police. The police gonna run him away, telling him he making trouble. So they never got to the bottom of it. He persisted. He kept persisting. So this girl, this mixed cave dweller, have children with other men. One of the men from the other children told her, your baby is dead. That's when he was able to get somebody to go over there and help him by that statement. They went over there to the house, the baby buried in the backyard. I told Micah L. when I went over there last week, you know, y'all need to get that autopsy report. And that day he said they had just got the autopsy report came out. He didn't see it yet. I told him when I got home, something just in the pit of my stomach wasn't right. And I asked the ancestors, I divinated about it. And I just was sick that whole night. Like, I can't believe this. Did they eat this baby? And they took her liver and her spleen, killed this baby for her liver and her spleen. These people been doing, and the spirit said these people been doing this 20 years. They've been in that house snatching children. And you remember recently how them people, I think it was maybe in Minnesota, Baltimore, somewhere, them people was gathered around that one man's house saying, where is such and such? They was looking for a girl. That's probably what happened. We don't even know these people are among us, cannibals that have a thirst for blood, that have to have our blood or our organs to survive. This is how detrimental it is to getting them off of this land. They have to be eliminated. And we have to do all that we can within the spirit realm to invoke our warrior ancestors to come and help us get this beast off of this land. Either them or us. They taking our people out by the millions every year. Look at the statistics. These people are missing. There's always indigenous people, Native Americans. Why? Because they need our blood to survive. They need our organs to survive. They all up in California, Walt Disney, all in the upper echelon, the elites. This is what they've been doing since they've been here for the last 120 years. This is why they can't stand me, because they know I know the truth and I'm going to tell it every time. When I find out, it's over. It's over for them. In the spirit realm and in the physical realm, I'm letting it all be known that this is what's going on. And our people been so aloof, and it's so far-fetched that you can't even imagine nothing like this could be happening. And people in denial, that's why it's still happening. Because you gotta deal with it and get rid of the problem. You can't be, that's not gonna happen. They can't do that and being all in denial about stuff. You have to see things for what they are, deal with it, and eliminate that problem. That's what I'm about. I know, and Maya Angelou said it best. When something or someone show you who they are, you have to believe them. Believe that. That's what's happening. That's the only way we're going to get rid of the problem, is to deal with it head on. You can't run from it. This is what's happening. So that's my mission. One of the main first missions is that we have got to get these cave dwellers off of the land and ask the ancestors to eliminate them. Squeeze whatever we say in our prayers, consume them with love into dust, never to return to planet Earth again. We offer them, and we accept no repentance for their sins. So it is, so it is, and so it is. And they heavily saturated in Florida and California and all throughout the South. Ashe.
You know, it was they just found a young man's body. Was it in Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they found a young man's body in Illinois, and he stripped of his organs, like maybe a week or two ago.
You know what I'm saying? They desperate. They desperate right now that they willing to do stuff like that. They have that thirst that they have to have, and the spirit told me they have to have at least one every year to sustain themselves. And it's all coming out. You have never heard that before, coming out like that. This has been going on for 120 years, but you never heard nowhere in the news that a body was found with the organ strip. That's because we in a time of revelation. It's all coming out now.
Right. They usually don't tell you that if it was found like that, they never really reveal that much of the information.
Oh, that's why it's probably.
But the same was with the Trayvon Martin boy. He didn't have any organs either.
Yeah, I knew something was weird with that, but I didn't think that.
And his father was a Freemason.
Oh, this is what we dealing with, family. We got to deal with this.
What you was just talking about is the reason they don't, every now and again, depending on where it's at, you'll hear a melanated child on the news, but they keep that pretty much out of sight, out of mind. With the numbers of our children that go missing each year, uh, but you never hear about it nowhere across this country on the news like you do the Amber Alert. That and what you just explained really was a real vivid description of what's going on. They snatching them. That train that you see now, all those folks coming across all those borders, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Venezuela, Mexico. That's a train, and children are being stopped and picked up along the way, and that's all melanated. It's amazing how they just do it right up under the nose of the world with the cameras and everything. But the numbers don't lie. Our children disappear exponentially more than any other nationality I know in this country.
This is why they put them in suits and made them look official, so they can do whatever they want to do under the auspice of the law.
Yep.
That time is up.
Okay.
Yes, it was a movie. I forget the guy's name. It was taken here, but they were speaking about the Moors in southern Italy. And the Albion was telling the other Albion, that's why your family is related to niggas. And he got mad. And he had the guy killed. But when they go to church, they ask for forgiveness, and the preacher, the priest, whomever would say, do this, do that, and say some Hail Marys and don't do it again. And they go right out and do it again. So I was thinking years ago, what can combat that? And now I got you, Empress Nancy. Yes, I know what can combat it.
Yes, you do. I got you, and I got y'all. We got each other.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But you put me down with what? And it's so simple. I yield.
So tell the people that may be watching this later on what is so simple that we can do to combat this.
To write a note to yourself. Put their names on and the things that they have done, why they get no repentance. Write it in the letter form and get you some hot spices and put that on there, whether it be peppercorns, cayenne pepper, red pepper, chilies, whatever is the hottest, and put that on there. And recently I've just been balling it up because I've had so many notes. And light you a fire, make sure it's a safe fire. I use gasoline because it's got such immediate fire and I'm loving it. And then when it's really hot and you see it sizzling and doing the thing, just put that note in there. And after a while, start taking pictures and you will see faces immediately. So you know that these evil, wicked monstrosities are taken out, and they need to be taken out. Million at a time if we can. They need to go. Ancestors, you pray to your ancestors for the support and help, and they will oblige immediately. Ashe, I love it. And I yield.
Ashewa.
Shit.
That knowledge came straight from the ancestors, spirit realm. They told me about 3 years ago, you need a cauldron. That's the only protection that I had at the time to take out the thousands that was coming for me, hundreds and thousands at a time. Those that have been around me for a period of time bear witness to what these people was doing. This is the way they was coming at me was a carbon copy of what they did to our ancestors to conquer them. They was doing the same thing, gang stalking with sorcery. And if I wasn't here to do this job, the ancestors sent me here with 6 warriors that's always with me, the most powerful warriors. Warriors and light beings. I wouldn't be able to withstand it if I wasn't equipped for this job that I'm doing. There's been
Yeah.
so many people, there's been so many people that have tried to help me and come to my aid and defense and have lost their lives. I'm so sad to say. In the physical, who were not protected spiritually. They didn't know what they was up against. And I didn't either. I didn't either. It was only in my mid to late 40s now that I'm really seeing everything and able to protect myself Keep them from coming in my house. Keep them from coming in my car. These people gotta go. They do this kind of stuff. This is what they've been up to. Violating people. Coming in and out of my house, my carpet used to be so dirty. I'm like, who been in here? Who been in my house? You can feel the energy. Somebody been in here. Then I start finding stuff stuck up in the corners and on the floor, and they didn't drop some witchcraft or whatever they doing, bringing spirits into my house. And I had Moors going around saying I had lost my mind. I'm crazy. Come to find out, somebody got to him. Somebody got to him. He was in the military. So you know what that means. They go to him. This is a Moor I was tight with for 10 years, like a brother. Next thing you know, he flipped the script on me. It's been an interesting journey, but I had to go through it, and it was meant that I said it's all in my chart. So nothing happened that wasn't supposed to happen, but it also showed me these different things that happened to me, showed me clearly who I can trust, who I can't, and who I am. Because these people been doing this for years against me and couldn't harm me. And even I didn't know, even when I didn't know, but when I learned the spiritual side, they really came out every day like a job. They move them around me, planted, when I bought this house last year, they planted them all around me in this neighborhood. This was done by a cousin. Another cousin of mine from the Tootie lineage that I'm talking about in London, England. This whole fight has been nothing but family. I can't even imagine doing that. And what is the problem with sharing power? You got the whole world. This is why they needed to go. This is why I had to get up to speed spiritually to be able to eliminate them. Ask the ancestors, go and take them out, cousin or not. They trying to come for my life. Anything you ask the ancestors to do, they will do. But you gotta have your spiritual protection up, because a lot of times you may not know who it is or where the threat is coming from. So you just have to have your spiritual protection up. When I began to really come into my own spiritual powers, I was able to see who it is exactly and find out through divination, or I'll have a dream. They'll show me in a dream different things lately. Clear. I mean, the visions be clear now. They come into me, I can hear their voice so clear now. Oh my God. When I asked them, I said, ancestors, who were we before the Maximas? Who were we? I know we didn't go by Maxima, all the time. I heard them so clear in my head. Tahuti. I was like, Tahuti? Who is Tahuti? I was like, never heard of that before. So I text Rain. I said, Rain, you ever heard of Tahuti? Rain was like, yeah. He wrote the Emerald Tablets. I'm like, wow. So then I began to divinate from there about the Tahuti. Before that, I didn't have a clue, but they came to me and said that. And I know we in the time of revelation, because everybody is getting clear messages. Even Michael, when I went over there last week, I was telling him about Mecklenburg, belong to my family, and how everything is coming forward. And he said, that's funny you said that, because the ancestors told me that Mecklenburg look into that because that's ours. That's what made me come home and divinate and ask the ancestors, is Michael in our family line? Why would they be telling him that unless they, he's a heir of them? Sure enough, he's a Tahuti, a descendant of Emperor Charles II in North Carolina. He was here. He dropped his seeds here too. He was one of our cousins. And then I said, ancestors, who is any Tahuti's in our tribe? First one they brought to me was rainwater. I said, wow. So I divinated about it. And that thing went crazy. I said, whoa, this is amazing. And I said, is there any others? They said no. But the others was connected to our family, just like Tata, Chaz Uriel Bay, he's a Cecil. That's one of the families of nobility. Collins, family of nobility. All of us been together before. I haven't had a chance to really divinate about each and every tribal member. I'm sure one day I will. But I'm just taking it as it comes to me. If something happens, then I, take the time to do it. But I already know we've been here before. This time we're going to get the job done. Ashe.
Ashe, sister. Noble Drew Ali would say, those that were with me 2,000 years ago are with me now. But when he would say that, I was thinking that there's a whole bunch of no good, wicked people here now that are acting like they're with him or were with him, but those people are scandalous. Ashe. I yield.
Shay, there's nothing new under the sun. They always have been, and we always been dealing with them.
Yeah, so I did some reading on Tahuti Trismegistus years ago, and I was learning things, but I had no idea of his family. It's like these people just faded into darkness and their family is never spoken of. And they're right here with us right now. We're supposed to be further along the way. Yes, we need our people to wake. I don't know what it's going to take for them to come out of the slumber that they're in, but they all need to be educated. They show you in all these vampire movies. Blackula just came on here lately. And I'm like, wow, they're trying to recruit people into their organization. But all they got is Jesus and a cross. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. That little cross and that name Jesus cannot do anything. So they got the people tricked all over again. It's entertainment. It's not real. It's not the truth, but it's just entertaining. Why you gotta lie? And all these people gonna believe what you say. In order to believe anything, you first have to be a lie. Because you cannot spell believe without spelling be a lie. I remember once my great niece was reading about Vlad and the Drac Dracars, Dracula, the Dracars. And I asked her to talk to me when she finished reading that book because I wanted to give her some information on it. She couldn't do that. She never did that. I said, oh, she must doesn't want to know because I've been in more science so long and I'm not like the rest of the people because I'm not coming with that stupid stuff. I'm coming with my truth. You could take it how you want to take it, but I'm not going to lie to you. She never came. But I know Muhammad II took Vlad and his son out because they were evil. They were the people from the mountains, the RH negatives. They had to go. And they went, and then people want to build them up like there's some, I don't even know a good word to say about their wickedness, but it's not to be tolerated anymore here on this earth plane. All of it. They have to go. I yield.
Speak about who the Muhammad killed.
Speak about who the Muhammad is. This was Muhammad II.
Who did you say he killed? He took him out?
Uh, who he took out was Vlad and his son, the Dracars, and they turned it into Dracula. Made a movie and turned it into Dracula. But these people were bloodthirsty, thirsty savages, killing people and just doing them crusades and all that type stuff. They was just killing people. Crazy.
Yeah, that was a part of the crusade. They were sent out as the Knights Templar for the those who took over the Holy Roman Empire and brought forth the Catholic Church. That was the Farnese family. That's a branch of the Tahuti tree. Them, along with some of the others, like Victoria, Maxima, and other family members around the world, it was mostly men at that time, and they knew that the matriarch was the power, and that was the law, and they changed what they wanted to change, and for the Bible to suit them, and they omitted and added as they saw fit to be able to control the population, the minds of the people in their favor.
Islam.
Ashe.
Ashe. And if it didn't, they were at that Council of Nicaea, they all came together to write the books and have orgies with whomever, male or female. And if you didn't agree with them, you didn't have the party like the rest of the people. You had death.
Okay, so these are the barbarians and the beasts that I'm talking about that lived in the caves for 470 years. They are innately barbarians and deal with bestiality. That's who have sex with animals. It was a video that just was out recently of these pale faces having sex with pigs. I don't know if y'all saw that. Somebody put that out. They were secretly videotaping these guys in the stall having sex with a pig. This is what we dealing with. They don't have a moral compass. They're not of human DNA. These are beasts, animals,
Yes.
and they were put into a position of power. So that's where you get all of these wicked things. They don't have is nothing wrong with it to them, because this is how they have lived. This is who they are. You can't change something. You can't change an animal's nature.
Right.
So when they got into power, they doing the same thing. They wasn't that far out the cave when they came into power. When they was given the lay of the land, they was given control. They came from the cave straight into a position of power. And that's where they still are now, that we still having to deal with and have to get rid of them now. You see them pictures of these so-called Greeks, and they taking back in back in the day, they laying all up with, like you said, all these orgies and different things like that. They don't
Yeah.
have, they're not equipped with truth and the law. That's where all of that came into, because you're dealing with an animal. You're not dealing with somebody who knows the law, who is equipped with a moral compass and a pineal gland. This is the problem we're dealing with in the world today. They control the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, all the seats of power that have been ruling. United Nations, G7, all the presidents since 1913 in America have been Scottish. That's the mountains they came from. That's the ones who was favored by a royal heir, Victoria Maximum, who put them up front as power pieces to her chessboard as pawns. And at the same time, they got out of control and they did take over. But they always had a ruling power they had to answer to, which was just as wicked, more wicked than them. So they got along very well. As long as they got what they want and they got what they want, there's a perfect union under Saturn. We no longer are under Saturn. Saturn allowed that to happen. As above, so below. That something like that can never happen again. Because we are teaching, we know better now, we know what happened, and we're teaching our lineages not to and how to not be conquered like that again. And the stars are not aligned for something like that to happen again. The planets are not aligned for something like that to happen again. Ashe.
I say also, my thoughts are taken to the movie Roddy Rodney Piper, and you these glasses and see skeletal people. It was basically pale faces. Anybody see that movie? They Live, I think that's the name of it.
I vaguely remember that when they put on the glasses and stuff.
Yes. And it was like X-ray, it would show them as skeletons. And every time I think about this Rh negative, we don't have to put on glasses to see them. I don't know about the melanated ones, but the pale skins, we can see them. No matter where they are, what they look like, they're evil. Eating people, drinking their blood banks in the city, just like bars. Really? Robert Noble Drew Ali said one day that he's going to take his good Moors up on inclines and zeppelins, and back in the day they didn't have airplanes like they have now. But these things where he said his good Moors are going to be up on a higher road, and we can look down and see all the people on the lower road yelling, take us up and whatever, save us. And that's, to me, sounds like the same story of Noah. But he said this world is going to be wiped of these evil beings. And when it's all over with, we can move into some of the nicest mansions that's left behind because they won't be here anymore on this plane. He didn't give a date for that, but that's what is in the book, that it said that he said. The older Moore said that he said that. He said in the year 2000, he didn't say 2000 what year, the Moors are going to come into their own. So these Moors of the Aborigine Moors Empire have come into our own. This is our own. We're setting it straight, setting the record straight. The law is the law, senor. They always like to say that. The law is the law, senor. And you're supposed to know the law. Well,
And
we
their
have
ignorance
taught.
will be no excuse.
Yeah, we've never been taught. So now we're going to teach.
That's amazing. The history that you give us from the prophet, because we definitely gonna be in them mansions. I put that in the email.
Hey, Empress, the other thing too, they put it right in your face. They let you know that eating human flesh is their religion. It's actually a spiritual situation for them, right? They get spiritual, um, I guess, aggrandizement from it, because you think about it. Well, on the first Sunday in the South, I know I can speak to the South, but on the first Sunday, they have what's called communion. And in that church, what they do is called eating of biscuit, which is, this is my flesh. As often as you do this, do it as in remembrance of me. And then they drink that blood, that wine, right? Oh, and they say, drink this is my blood. Whether you drinking Welch's and a biscuit, it's still a ritual, right? It's a cannibalistic ritual at that. Uh, and I'll share another story with you. I had a white guy at my shop. Pilgrim came to my shop and he wanted to talk about Jesus saved and all that. And so I asked him, I said, so on the first Sunday, do y'all do the communion? He said, yeah. I said, so let me ask you this question. If you were in, you just name it, Nicaragua, Venezuela, you were in the Amazon in the woods and you seen one of the Aborigines doing a ritual with a chicken and wringing his neck and pouring the blood out and drinking it, what would you say to that? Would you say that was kosher or what? He said, no, I think it would be voodoo. I said, okay. I said, so let's take um, that same Aborigine, that same native, and bring him to America and take him to your church on first Sunday. And you bring out the blood and the flesh. What you think he gonna say to you? He said, what do you mean? I say, well, don't you think he gonna say, at least in my country, we eat chicken? You know what I mean? Y'all over here eating human flesh and blood, right? And over in my country, we're doing it with what the Creator gave us. They put it in our faces in their Bible to eat flesh. It's in their Bible to drink blood. And in my opinion, it's like you said, it gives them, especially the DNA from the melanated race. You're right. I think it gives them power. But now we're waking up to the fact, because you look at where the abortion clinics are, 85% of them, if not more, are in black and brown, melanated neighborhoods, right? And even in that, they call it Planned Parenthood, right? So I don't know where I don't know where the parenthood come out, but I know what the plan is, right? And it's now being revealed. There's too many people missing. Too many go missing every year for it not to be a plan. I yield.
Yeah, they consuming us. They consuming all of our leftovers, just like they will fight you and call the police on you if you want your own placenta.
Mhm.
Back some years back, when I was having my children 20 years ago, you used to have to go through a lot to get your own placenta. So this has been going on all along, and they set their people up in these places. I learned a long time ago when I became conscious not to leave a family member or somebody you know unattended in these hospitals, because that's where they kill you at. But I didn't know what the real plan was. They want your organs. And it's too many stories. Even one of our young tribal members, the youngin that came here recently, his father was a doctor. He was a physician. And, they didn't like his methods because he wasn't for that BS, and he was truly healing people. He had gotten sick and went into the hospital and was supposed to be checking out. Well, he never came home. That's one story. And I've heard a young, even in my own family, now that I think about it, my father's brother got stabbed when they was young, and he had a fight, with some rivals or whatever. They call themselves having a street gang. But he was about to come home. Next thing you know, he died. He didn't come home. Now all of this is flashing back to me. Another story.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Empress.
One more story.
I'm sorry.
One of my son's friends, mother, her fiance was a young, strong dude who had gotten sick or something like that and had to go into the hospital. When he went into the hospital, something she said, he checked the donate his organs if anything happened. Well, he was about to come home too. All of a sudden, he didn't come home. Died in the hospital. Got all these young organs, and he done signed off on them taking his organs. That's why I never felt comfortable with doing nothing like that. They after you even more so, because now they can easily take them organs. They don't have to do nothing special and finesse and leave bodies on the streets with organs missing. Our people are unaware, and they need to really wake up. Ashe, I yield.
I say they also getting it through DMV, because if you tacitly don't check the not a donor box and you just leave it blank, they leave that as a tacit response, as if you did agree, because you didn't on the record deny. So, and in my family, I let all my family know check the box. If you're gonna have a license, you gotta check the box, not a donor, because you don't want to leave yourself, you don't want to leave that decision to a coroner or, a medical doctor to say, well, it didn't say whether or not he was, so we're gonna go with, yeah, he was. I yield.
That's the whole premise they've been basing their whole existence upon here. Abandonment. He who does not claim his rights has none. Some of the elders have said, what is all this paperwork y'all doing? These people know who you are. Well, it's a reason the ancestors have us laying claim and doing all this paperwork. Because if we don't, they have secret rules that only they go by. And as long as they controlling the strong arm on the land, we can't leave it to chance anymore that they just know who we are. We have to take a bold stance and make those claims every time we get a chance. Matriarchs say, closed mouths don't get fed. That's what it's about. Ashe. Matriarch can't hear you. He muted.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Closed mouths do not get fed. And especially they don't expect it coming from you. So now that I've been fighting for this mineral land claim that these people said my property was vacant, all week I have been putting the paperwork together. It's like a good sized book now. So I'm at the point now where the organizations, the companies that I want to inform about their I need to go back. I want to inform these companies that I'm not to be charged any cost for their services. But I want to go back to the Attorney General. His name is Joe Dudek, Assistant Attorney General here in Maryland, Baltimore City. I have been conversing with him. And I gave him the paperwork twice, 3 times. This would be the 4th time. And this one is, and it's always been return receipt requested certified. And this time is going to be different because we are the Aborigine Moors Empire, making it known that you are a servant of mine. You are not equal to me, and you don't want to register my documents because for whatever you think I'm a sovereign trying to get over and steal money from the city. No, I'm telling you that this land belongs to me and my clan, the Aborigine Empire of the Moors is in full effect. You need to recognize all these people, starting with the Hague on down, recognize us. You're just a little being on this plane. So if you don't recognize, then I want to tell them you're going into the pot, but I'm trying to be civil but he's not trying to be civil. He's trying to keep me from what's due me, having it registered in the state,
What you mean having it registered?
my documents.
Okay. You can
But he
file,
hasn't.
make a public filing in the register of deeds. That's what it's for. Or you can publish it publicly on the World Wide Web. That's a notice. You can also send it by email. That's a legal notice, and put that caption that I use. You have that in my documents that I send you. That whatever sent electronically, that is considered legal notice. Get
Yes,
they email, send it to them, and CC it or mail a copy to the Department of Justice. They know who you are. They have been taught to deny everything.
yes,
They know doggone well we are not sovereign citizens. That's just something for them to use to try to deny us. But there's
right,
no day of denial is over.
right.
Well, I knew that the day of them denying us was over 2 years ago when I sent in my first royal decree to Mecklenburg County Superior Judge Robert Bell, and he stepped down not even a week later. I said, okay, now we cooking with gas. This is why I keep telling y'all, don't go at them playing their own game with all these different laws.
Right.
And you hit it on the nail when you said, now I am telling you, I'm in the seat of power. You are to do this, this, and this.
Yes,
Now you getting it. That's where we need to be. We should have been doing and walking in the image and the likeness of our ancestors, the rulers of the land. I told one of the Moors recently, don't keep saying you're going to sue. Kings don't sue. Kings give orders. Emperors don't sue. They give orders. And the spirit moved me to say that because that's who we are. We have to get back to that. These people already know that. They already know they stole the land. Then it was an empire here when they got here. They know that. They even
yes,
told the Moors. And one of the Moors, I got it recorded. Me and him did a conversation. He said the judge told him, we know we stole this land from you, from your people. In other words, okay, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? You're not coming as a nation. You're not coming under your the seal and the power of your people. So you just talking gibberish. Ashe.
It's the first time I've looked and seen where the spiritual side in this movement is.
excuse me, brother, excuse me. I heard you say this is the first time, and the last thing I heard was this movement. So whatever you said between that, I didn't hear.
Okay. I said this is the first time me recognizing with this movement that the spiritual aspect of it is as or more important than the church's the spiritual uh, teachings that the Christian church teaches. A lot of us get caught up in that aspect of it. And the one thing that struck me when I first joined the nation after about 3 or 4 months is how we actually are using the science for what it is. To ask them to be destroyed, consumed with love. I mean, you got to be on a level to really understand what's going on with that, because if you're in your feelings, you want them to be destroyed. But that's something for, you know, the ancestors are there to take on the cries of the people that are here. And as the Empress always says, she put it out there and they were consumed that day. Right. So I'm beginning to understand that this spiritual part, I mean, it's pretty much like bullet and gun, right? You the gun, but if you don't have a bullet, which is the spirit, to fire off, then you stay in the gunfight a whole lot longer. But when you load up your weapon with the spiritual bullets, which is the ancestors, the great spirits, the teachings that, as we say in our prayer, that were handed down, that's when you start seeing things moving. That right now, just looking at just certain things as we've been going over throughout the last couple months, the Queen abdicated, or she's not in Buckingham Palace. Now think about that. She's not in Buckingham Palace, just as her corporate subdivision, the United States, are not in the White House. And they actually saying it in the news. And we know through the record that the Empress sent a decree to both of them. And as she said, since she sent it out, just watch, you see it's happening. I was actually amazed. I had been hearing it, but when I finally saw it in the news that this cat has not been in the White House since day one, it's not that I didn't believe it, but you get a sense of pride of knowing that it was put out before he was put out. So I'll yield on that. I'm just saying the spiritual aspect. I see the brother DeTavis on the call with the Magis. So I just want to put it out there, brother. The spiritual aspect is very important, because that's where you get your power. Your hands, the way I look at it, my hands are for the war, but I go to the ancestors in the great spirit for the victory. And it's really starting to show benefits tribe wide. And having said that, I yield.
Ashe, Noble. Going back to the history in the 1600s, rainwater, you were saying something earlier about
Mhm.
how they say all these major events happen in 1609. Can you elaborate on that? I think we kind of got sidetracked and I cut you off.
Oh, yeah. I was making the connection with the creation or the transcription of the King James Version and the Jamestown Charter.
Jamestown meaning South Africa, right?
Jamestown in Virginia.
Okay.
When I think that was the first place they supposedly came to when they came over here and settled. That was the first place that was settled, was Jamestown, Virginia in 1611. Is what they have written. And the King James Version was in 1609, and that's only 2 years apart.
So what that say to me is, first of all, the settlements, the British settlements that they speak about was King Charles first and second, allowing people to come from London, England, over here to their lands that they had claimed over here. They was not pale skins. The Bible, that was done in the 1900s, but they put it out, they backdated it, just like they do a lot of the history books. They backdated it. And the heirs couldn't find the right knowledge, just like they never used the last names in the Bible. The reason I divinated about it, so I know it's true, but the reason I noticed before I even divinated is because Africanus Cyprios is the one who they claim conquered Africa. And he was the one going into all of these different ruling fam. Well, he was going into the ruling families of each region, trying to drop his seed. The Tahudis wasn't buying it. He couldn't do that with them. But he did mix in what he changed the name to Egypt. He mixed in. That's why they started getting lighter in the 1900s. Then he went on to different parts of Africa. And he is the one who came up with the notion of the Israelites. And that went into the Bible. The Israelites is not even a real tribe. This is why these fake Jews ride on that so much, because they know it's false.
Right.
Okay.
Shit. Yeah, and then I think
CASHAPP.
was it like maybe like 60 years before that Bible was created, it was the Geneva Bible that was made. And in Geneva Bible, you can actually find the word more in there several times. But in the King James Bible, it doesn't even have more in there, not once. So that means it seems like it was written to kind of ignore us in a way or something. I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, when you go and look up the divine right of kings, the 1611 King James Bible, King James took it and changed it he changed it from, because when you start going back in history, you see that the spirit or the great spirits chose the kings, the warriors, not men, right? That's why rites of passage, a boy that was 12 was taken out, whatever the rite of passage ritual was. He went out and found his purpose. He came back with a name that the spirit or the ancestors gave him. That's what he was called, right? And King James took that and said that based off of their religion, he automatically, because he was king, he had the divine right of kingship rather than being chosen by the great spirits and the ancestors. So 1611 Bible is really a translation Bible for the state. I agree with you as far as that 1599 Geneva Bible, because there was a 1599 King James revision, and then there was a 1611 revision, and then, like you said, that 1611 Jamestown, Virginia I think that's where you can go online and find the charter. I've seen it somewhere, which Jamestown is where Willie Lynch came with that letter. But the divine right of kings is where the King James Version really changed things from the king being chosen and ordained by the prophet or given the name of by the great spirits to now we choose the king. The king is God, so the king is really, it was a battle between the king and the pope. And at that time, the popes had a lot of power. And King James, according to what I read, had to change that because he didn't want to give all the power to the religious right or the religious order. So he changed it and kept it with the state. And then the people looked at the king as far as the divine right of kingship. They looked at him as a god as well. I yield. And of course, that's as I overstand it.
Okay. So the King James Version was written by the same people who overthrew the empire. And they wrote it in his name. He set out to write it. They killed him. Well, they ran him to commit suicide doing sorcery. That was his own family. He committed suicide before he could publish that Bible. They made all them revisions and changes and published the Bible in his name. He never did that. He knew the law. Kings did not have more power than the ruling family, and that's coming from the Tahuti tree. At that time, the Holy Roman Empire and the popes of the Holy Roman Empire were to be the voice on earth, as well as the empresses and the emperors who came from the ancestors who considered themselves in previous times gods and goddesses on this land. Goddess Diana Farnese is the one who created the Holy Roman Empire, and she fed many nations. She's the one that gave the land out, gave duties out. These families, the Medici family and the other two families, were given duties and the responsibility to collect taxes from the treasuries of the empire, to turn over the monies. They're not the owners of the treasuries of the world. They began to take over after they helped overthrow the empire, and the law was turned over to the males. They have been against the law ever since this time. So that's why it's very important for us to learn the power of divination so that you can get exact and correct answers. Because we have to correct this timeline of events, and we have to know what's proper and what is actually the law. And the law was that the matriarch runs the land, and the men rear the children and do certain things. They didn't like that. notion. So they killed off the elders, locked the Pope up, the original Pope up. Y'all can look that up. Locked him up. And they had a whole town full of people who painted their doors red because of the Pope being locked up or kidnapped or whatever when they took over the empire. So that Pope couldn't carry out the orders of the empire no more. So they kept him locked up in the Vatican and brought out their own popes of the Catholic Church. That's when it all began. And they set out to change the law. That's why they changed the Bible. That's when they changed the Bible. Tahuti, Emperor Solomon Tahuti was the one putting out the Holy Script. He held the library secrets, the scrolls of the family. So the law that we have right now is greatly distorted. They couldn't change everything, just like they couldn't take away all of the remnants of the ruling powers in Europa and around the world, because it was just that vast. The way they set out to do it was through the religion, and that they forced people to partake in. They forced people everywhere they went to conquer. They forced them to either be Islam, learn Islamism from this book. On the other side of the world, you're going to learn Christianity or you're going to die. Using these pale-faced cave dwellers to do their bidding all around the world. This is where the mulatto light-skinned people came from, Morocco. The so-called Middle East is so far from the Middle East. It don't even exist. They made that up. The Middle East don't even exist. That is not the middle of nothing, and it's not East. That was another mind trick that they put on the people so they can lose their way and get further away from the truth as possible. All these pale faces in Africa who are in ruler positions, they were conquered by these cave dwellers. And this Africanus Cyprios his thing was to conquer the royal families, drop his seed in the royal families. So he did that in some parts, like Morocco, Dubai, Sudan, Saudi Arabia. Everywhere that you hear a royal family conquer something, that's your indication. You don't have to conquer anything that your family already owned. That's in your bloodline. Ashe, now you.
Ashe.
that we need to use. If you're having a conversation with yourself and you need an answer, you need to take time and meditate, call on your ancestors, and pull out your pendulum and get your answer. Have your board with your letters and your numbers, the one that says yes or no, or maybe, or you're right. And that pendulum, which I call a dowser, will start spinning. And that's what you want. Immediate answers. You don't have to wait. You don't have to. I mean, people lie to you all the time. I was thinking about, well, when you were talking, Empress, I was thinking about if someone had to go to court, take a dowser to court and let it start spinning in court and shut them all down. Because you already know they're lying. Their lips are moving, they're lying. They all got a script. When I went to court and for my son in New York, and I was talking to a marshal, and he said the theatrics. And I'm saying, theatrics? Is that what you call it? To myself, theatrics? They're supposed to be serious. Theatrics sounds like it's a play, it's a game, it's a script. So it's already known to the
That
people who are there.
that's what they are under. They are under the act of doing something. It's all theater and conjecture. So he had to lead on like that's what you were doing also.
I never heard that before, but I can see it plainly, ever so plainly now. Nothing new under the sun.
And that was another way of saying it is not law.
Yeah. Yes.
I was reading the just a couple pages on the South Carolina Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice here is a melanated man by the name of Chief Justice Beatty, Beatty. And when you start reading it, he starts talking about the Supreme Court, South Carolina Supreme Court, and it talks about it being the highest administrative court in South Carolina. When he said administrative, that basically said that it's all theater, because administrative laws and regulations and rules have no force and effect of law. That's law, but especially to a American national, a Moor, an Aborigine, an Aboriginal, autochthonous, none of that stuff. And it really makes sense when the Empress says, "Look, quit." Like she said earlier, quit going back and forth with these people, go to the top. They literally cannot accept our paperwork. They can't. It's sort of like can't spend the gold that we talking about, right? They can't touch the gold. And literally to touch us, we have to let them touch us because, I mean, we are the law on the land. But they know it, but we don't. And now we're coming into the knowledge. It's a beautiful thing when you start getting entering over and understanding all at once. Because then you begin to see, you put them glasses on like you were talking about, matriarch, they live, right? But now, it was funny, they call that movie They Live, right? And then when you put the glasses on, you saw the mark of death. You know what I mean? That movie, the title was really a mind trick. They live, but then they were like the Walking Dead, but in order to live, they were eating folks. They've been showing us themselves for years in them zombie movies. It's like Empress said, the noble's child was found missing a liver and spleen. That's what in the movies that I've seen, them zombies, they eat the soft organs, liver, spleen, brain. You know what I mean? So it sounds just like, it sounds like it's coming out of a movie, but you read the papers and you start seeing that, I mean, it's happening for real, especially in our communities. I yield.
Yeah, that's they got a lot of zombie movies. But another thing that stands out to me is Dracula. With the drinking of the blood and not being able to handle the sunlight. That's like a direct connection to exactly what they did. And they always make those type of movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Islam. I know what you're saying, and that's the Vlad I was talking about. Dracula. His name was
Oh yeah, Vlad Dracula.
Yeah, no, his name wasn't Dracula. It was Dracus or Drac something.
Are you talking about Vlad the Impaler? They call him
Yes.
Vlad the
Mm-hmm.
Impaler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brutal man. Yeah,
Peace and love, fam.
peace and love.
So they
Thought
make
y'all be
movies,
thought y'all be off by now.
movies about it. And I had a brother tell me the other day. He told me his dad was a Freemason. He just learned not too long ago that his dad was a Freemason. And he was telling me that his dad told him that a lot of those so-called Jews, when they make these movies that they make, they put all this stuff in the movies. It's like they having a meeting, and they are passing messages to each other with the movies, so they won't really have to meet up.
Yeah, they put stuff in the movies so that they say their hands are clean because they can't say,
Yeah.
we didn't
So they
tell
send
people the
messages
truth.
to each other through television and movies, and it's kind of, and they have keywords and stuff that they all know. They kind of tell them how they should move and like give protocol through the entertainment. And it made me notice, and it shows that that's proven to be true with this COVID operation. How they pretty much put it all in our faces before it happened. They was pretty much planning it on movies and television and everything before they
Bart
actually
Simpson,
went into it. And yeah, The Simpsons is perfect. That's a perfect example.
they put it in Bart Simpson and cartoons and we call it Pokemon cartoons. It be in all of that stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
5-10 years later, it comes out live. This food shortage is a big one.
Yeah.
So y'all stock up on food.
Another thing that stood out to me, Empress, when you said the kings don't have more power than the royal families.
Ashe.
I was reading canon law, and they have a canon that actually says that. So I think that the canon law might be another form of law that we may be able to use against them. We would just have to go through them and see which ones that we could use that will fit, us. But it's a lot of them. It's thousands of them. But it actually said like the sovereign is higher than the kings.
Yeah, the canons of law.
Yeah.
Well, the ancestors told me we can write our own law. That's what I do. I was given that in 2017. I started writing the law. The ancestors told me I have the power to do that. So, and every day is becoming more evident to me that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. If you think about it, that's what our ancestors did.
Mm-hmm.
They had a divine message that came from the spirit realm, and they brought it to the planet. That's the law. Ashe.
Ashe.
I say.
I say.
Ashe, 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 Ashe-wa. And now I'm getting it, and I'm spreading it far and wide. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
How you doing on that necklace?
Well, I finally got a tool to get the copper out without scratching it. I kept scratching it, and I said, I don't like this. I need to find something better.
Yeah.
I finally found the right tool. So I'm ready. I'm
Just
not
let me
ready.
know.
I'm not
Let me
finished.
know when you're ready, and I'll send it to you, Western Union.
Western Union. Western Union.
Yeah, instead of a Cash App, I don't like messing with that too much. I do Western Union, or I could do a Zelle. I could do Zelle or either one of those, Zelle or Western Union, to get you some money.
Sounds great. And I was thinking snail mail to get it there too.
Snail mail. What is that? They're coming up with all these different apps.
It's not an app, boy. It's old fashioned.
Like talk about a postal mail, post office.
Yeah,
I could do that too. Yeah, post office, FedEx. What's the other one? The yellow one. I can't even think of the name.
God,
What is it?
God, guaranteed overnight delivery.
It's a yellow and the letters are in red, I think. It's a
DHL.
yellow. Say it again.
DHL.
DHL. Yeah. I only used them a couple of times. Somebody actually came online and asked me to get them a hotel room. I ain't never met this person in my life. They said, get me a hotel room. I said, who are you? And they said, I need you to get me a hotel room. I'm like, who are you? I never met him before. You know, so who this person to ask me to get them a hotel room? I
No, but
never did find out who it was.
we recording.
Oh, okay.
Make your commentary information worthy.
Well,
Continue more.
I can't continue because I have too many jokes. This is a serious. Empress
Don't
said it has,
stop again.
recording.
I tried to dead that real smoothly. Say something worth us hearing, Ernest Earl, please.
Okay. My fires are still going.
Well, that's good. But
And
all them people in California, all them fake governmental policies and mandates in the fire every day.
yep, every day.
They are encroaching upon the people's basic human rights, inalienable rights, indigenous rights. I see why so many people left California.
Hey, they still leaving in droves. High tax. I noticed a lot of people moving to Texas.
South Carolina too. Last
I
year,
think it's
South Carolina was the number one according to their statistic, the number one state with transplants, folks coming from other places, other states.
they pay property tax.
Oh yeah, they pay it here,
Oh,
but it's one of the lower in the 50 in the United States. Plus you got gun rights. Plus if you live in the county, you can shoot, burn. I mean, it's pretty much, wide open here. They don't come out. Like if you got no trespassing on your property, four corners, the sheriff know pretty much don't be coming up all crazy, so you got some fortitude as far as the customs of the community. Folks just don't play too much. Not saying that they won't. I'm just saying out this way, man, we pretty much, like today I was at a partner of mine's house and somebody was busting up. I knew it was M249, bro. I done shot it. You know what I'm saying? And that, pop, 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 pop. I mean, it was, and it wasn't no ox. I know what that ox sound like too. It sounded like an M249 that saw, you know. Over here, somebody sound like they got a 240, and it's just we got some. I mean, we got some auto stuff out here, bro. So
yeah,
it's
because they changed that law
yeah.
saying that you can have anything, whatever you can fire, you can have it. There's no more ban on any type of weapons. None.
They
When,
trying
The
to get
judge.
they trying to get prepared for these Aborigine Moors that's coming back for their land.
well, I
Yeah,
know
the judge removed it.
last month they came out. What they trying to do with this bill? I'll find it and post it. But with this $3.5 trillion bill they trying to pass, within it, there's a provision that says that any soldier that comes back to the United States from war can't own a firearm. Think about that, bro. So now the ones who actually know what to do with them, they don't allow
Yeah,
them to have them.
That ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna pass.
I know, bro. I know it's not. I know it's not. They crumbling. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
when you look at what happened in Afghanistan and what's going on right now, this cat, I don't think he really know how to handle those decrees coming from the Empress. It's actually crumbling. This dude has not been in the White House, man. They may as well paint it black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, you older, you in my age. You remember when George Clinton came out with "Let's paint the White House black"?
Yeah.
Yeah, they may as well go ahead on and paint it, man. You know?
Yeah. They did these crazy laws, man.
Yeah.
Not even law.
No, it's not law, it's legalities. And George Washington brought that into effect when he said that this country ought to be called United States of America through legislation. So legislation, legalities, all of them come together to know that it's de facto. Let you know in there. I yield. Legal ease, de facto, all of that.
I'm looking at your fires, LMK, man. Your fires done changed, bro. And I can say that because we see them so much, right? Right now, man, your fire's starting to look like staffs and you know, it's like a power thing now, bro. You know, I mean, you can look at them now, and each time I see your frames, you know, the flames are more. It's like more energy, more power now. I like it. Did you
I
change
think
ingredients?
it's nope. Same. I think it's because it's windy out here.
So it was windy the other day when you put those up.
It was windy, but one time I can't remember what day that was. One time, I just wanted to try this. I just wanted to see what would happen, and y'all ain't gonna believe me, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Uh, I told the wind to be still, and I swear it was about at least maybe to 8 to 10 seconds. Everything went silent. I thought I went deaf, and the wind stopped. And then as soon as I kind of realized what was going on, it started back up. That was scary, man. How I mean, somebody. I told somebody that was on there. I don't know who that was. Was that you, AAA? I think it was. I think it was you that I told
That
right when it
sounds
happened.
familiar.
Yeah, I read it too.
It was in the day. It was during the daytime though, but it was man.
Yeah,
I thought I was going crazy because I thought I went deaf because everything just. I don't know. Have you ever experienced the wind just stopping, nothing blowing, nothing moving, and you can't hear nothing. You can hear a pin drop if you drop a pin.
Dead silence
Dead silence, and then
all the time.
all of a sudden it kicked back up again.
yeah, that's that peace be still. You know, and throughout this like another story that you shared. I remember you talked about the accident and you could see it was like you see yourself and you were outside of yourself and you could see like a vehicle going through your truck but nothing happened. You was,
Oh yeah, man, that was freaky. Oh my
well,
gosh.
that's your stories. You know, I've been doing some reading on one of the gifts we used to use was with an organ called the barotheric gland. You know, we talk about the pineal gland all the time, but there was a barotheric. Look that up. I think it's
Barrett,
Baratary.
Barrett,
Barotheric. I think it's
Pituitary.
BARA. Say again, Empress?
Pituitary?
No, barotheric gland. Hold on a
Barrett.
second. I'm gonna look it up. But that gland allowed us to transcend time. You read the story of Jonah and the well. It say he transcended, I think, a 5 days journey in a day. You look at some of the stories where the nobles were in trouble and they hid themselves in plain sight. The story of Lot, when the folks was coming at him, the men were blinded. He was right in the mix and they got away. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Hold on.
Before I forget, Nobles, send me those news articles of these happenings around the country. The young man that was found without his organs, and any other news that you find like that, and a lot of the missing numbers of people, the natives and indigenous people
Yeah,
missing.
I see those all the time.
You need to send me that information because I'm
Okay.
going to compile some documents.
I remember seeing a story where it said that we coming up missing. This is like maybe a week ago, and that we coming up missing, and they're taking the babies, they're taking our children, and then a warning went out to everybody to watch your children because they're taking our children. They're going into the projects, into the bad neighborhoods, and just taking our children because they know that a lot of times we don't be watching our children, and they're just going in and taking them. There was a video. Somebody made a video of that, and somebody was going to try to take her child, and she came outside. And the person drove off.
Okay. Now, a week ago, I told y'all it ain't even been a week ago. The spirit
right.
told me to let y'all know,
Yep.
keep your babies close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Send me those. We have to start working on this situation with these cave dwellers. They're getting desperate. This is their last leg. So whenever you fight against the demon, they come back with 7 heads. That's where they at right now. They're fighting to stay alive.
Yep. And might be homeschooling my children too, because they're talking about giving the kids shots. I said, excuse my language, and I'll just say BS. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna let nobody give my children no shot. It's not happening. So
This is why we need to work on them. Put them before the ancestors. Them and all those who's directing and ordering these mandates. That's how you get them all. Whoever it is at that school, start dealing with them with the fire and with the ancestors. That's
yeah, then they made a law
it
here
ain't
in
no
California.
ain't no law, but anyway.
I mean, right, but they just made some statute, whatever, saying that once a child is 12 years old, they don't have to tell their parents anything. They don't have to let their parents in their medical records. They can take shots, do whatever they want, and basically they're saying that they're an adult.
Okay, where is this at?
This is California.
Did they put that in the news or in a statute? Because a
They
lot
put
of
it in
stuff.
a statute, and it was online saying that.
Did you find it? Okay, Find it in the statute. I promise
Okay.
I promise you won't. All of this stuff is being done by the elites that's running California. Ain't no, Biden didn't order none of that stuff.
Okay.
It's not no legislation regarding that. They are on their last leg, and these vampires in California, Walt Disney, Hollywood friends, is trying to stay alive, and they want them dead bodies. That's what it's all about. They want these children, organs, blood, whatever they can get. They trying to get some dead bodies. You understand what I'm saying? This is how
Yep.
critical it is, because all of they trafficking networks have been shut down. So they trying to get bodies so they can stay alive. Literally.
That's what happened to all them children that they end up missing that came across the border. It's over 2,000 of them. Still ain't found them.
And each one of these cave dwellers, they have to consume one indigenous body per year. So if it's 500,000 of them here, 500,000 of our people at least is going to be missing or more. And that's exactly what's been happening. But the spirit has let me know that our rituals are working. We have to keep these people, these pale-faced cave dwellers, in the fire. It's not we don't even have a choice. We need the help of the ancestors to deal with this monster. Ashe.
Hush. I'm gonna go inside. It's getting cold out here.
So make sure y'all download the previous recordings that I sent y'all by email, because they're going to be cleared off of the Zoom cloud. So you won't be able to just click on the link and be able to watch it. You got to download it.
Okay, I'm working on that now, Empress, because I did it wrong. I went in, I copied the link and then put it in a file, right? But you saying, you told me the same thing. I got to download it.
Yeah,
Okay.
to save it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. But we in a critical time. Make sure we stay on our rituals and everything, because like I said, they on their last leg, and anytime you fighting a demon and they feel you winning, they gonna come back with 6 more demons to try to help them.
Yeah.
So that's why we need protection around our properties, around our domicile, to ward them off.
I'm trying to tell you. My door jammed. I came home a couple days ago. My door lock was jammed. Somebody tried to come in here. The ancestors got on them, and they little tool got stuck in my door. Yeah, I guess they was gonna come in here and wait on me. I had left to go to the store. So I tell y'all the power of the ancestors. It ain't no joke. The power that we can invoke. And I want y'all to practice that. To put your energy on everything.
Jay,
You all right over there? Ain't nobody fighting the
no,
matrix? Oh, okay.
just two.
Okay.
Oh, I see. They came to your house and left they too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something was jammed in my door. I couldn't even get in. The only way I got in, I was out there for 5 minutes trying to push my key into the door lock. I couldn't
right.
even get the key in the door. Okay. I said, ancestors, help me. And I licked my fingers, my 2 fingers, and I put it on the key and then stuck it in there. And it started to work its way in there. And I was able to open the door. Other than that, the key was 3/4 out of the lock. I couldn't even get the key in there. So I call on the ancestors for everything. And they show up. So now I'm just using the top lock because they done jammed my bottom lock.
It's a double
Put
deadbolt.
video cameras up, Empress?
Would you stop asking me that? And I told you how many times that I don't have no video cameras up. And if I did, how is an invisible suit gonna be seen, Bernice Earl?
That's right. I forgot about that.
I need y'all to get to your spiritual realm and stay there. Don't even worry about the physical no more because it don't exist.
Got you. I got you. We're on a higher plane. We're on a higher plane. Oh gosh. Stepping back.
Hey, Empress, this message you got in the chat to Detavis, what is that used for?
He was asking about the reclamation. I got in there, or one of those notices that comes in your reclamation package where it says the registered number at the top, and it's a blank. It's blank. I was just telling him to get a certified receipt and use that and put it in there and mail it out.
Okay.
So I get the receipt from the post office.
Yeah. You know how they have the receipts, the green and white receipts in there? With a green and white
Oh yeah,
form.
it
Yeah.
the fill out.
Yeah. Just take 1 or 2 of them and take it with you or write it in there before you mail out the letter. And keep you a copy of it so you can have that for your records. And if you
Okay.
need it,
The line before 2019, what I put right there.
The line before 2019, what does it say?
Or it say actual, lawful, and constructive notice line, and then 2019.
Oh, that's when I created it. Just put a date in there. It was written in 2019.
Okay.
Just put January 1. But you going to get that notarized or
Gotta get
just
that notarized. Should I have it them
affidavit?
called to me?
You can get 2 people to witness it. That'll be fine.
So the notary will be the witness on all these papers.
No,
No.
you only need 2 witnesses. That's a lawful notice or affidavit. You can use 2 witnesses on the affidavit. You don't have to have a notary. Technically, that's an officer of the court.
The notary.
Yes, and that will bring you into their jurisdiction, which we don't want to do.
So leave all the bottom part blank except the top part.
Say it again.
Leave all the bottom part blank except the top part.
Let me see what you're talking about.
The,
Can you?
let me see. How you do a flip your camera? Can you flip your camera? I don't know how to flip. Okay. So fill this part out and leave this blank.
Okay, so this one has the disclaimer on it. You see where it says using a notary is not going to enter me into a foreign jurisdiction.
Yes, ma'am.
You can use a notary, and that caption, that statement will cover you that you're not being entered into a foreign jurisdiction. But on your reclamation, just use 2 witnesses.
Okay. So fill this out completely. And
Yeah.
notary.
Fill
Should I
completely.
should I have this notary come to me or do this at the post office?
Wherever a notary is, we'll go to the bank.
Okay.
Anywhere a notary is fine. As long as it's a notary.
And it is best to go to the deed place before I start mailing.
Say it again.
I said it is best to go to the deed place before I start mailing stuff.
To go to the what place?
The deed and registration place.
Oh yeah. You need to get that all of everything certified and have your certified copy put up, and then you send the copies of that out. If you ever have to go into a foreign jurisdiction, such as a court, British court, you need to have a certified copy of your reclamation, because that is what is going to act as law. Certified copies and affidavits into the court is considered law. They can't get around that. So yeah, if you want to file, get it public notice. Filing it at the registry of deeds makes it public notice. So you have to do that first.
And on my hold up. This paper.
Your reclamation
Yeah. This date.
is dated.
No, I'm saying, what date do you want me to put there?
The date you received it is fine.
Okay. And it's best to type this or write everything that I just asked you.
You can write it. You can write it in. Make sure if you can't write legible, have somebody write it that can write legible and
Okay.
neat.
Okay. Hopefully by the end of this week, I will have that done. Bless you.
Noble. Just let me know if you have any other questions.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope we're not giving you too much information.
See, the funny thing is, I knew most of this. I just don't act on it.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it is.
It's not that I was scared. It's just my brain wasn't telling me to act on it until now.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the knowledge you've been given, it's not by coincidence.
That's the spirit talking to you, telling you what's real and what's truth.
And what to surround myself with and what not to.
Absolutely. We all can receive this truth if we sit still and ask for it and stop following all this nonsense going on around us meant for a distraction.
Empress, I put in the chat uh, something that I think might help. But basically, it's I got it from Cornell Law, Rule 4.1, complaint, warrant, or summons. But when you go down to where it says notes, the new Rule 4.1, it says new Rule 4.1 brings together in one rule. You see it?
By telephone, for real?
Hey, listen, yes, you faxing, telephone, and
Reliable electronic means.
yes, that's so we don't have to spend all that money, right? If you got the tracking where you send the email, when they open it, it's done because that's considered, and you see what it says, the committee recognized that modern technological developments have improved access to judicial officers, thereby reducing the necessity of government action without prior judicial approval. 4.1 prescribes uniform procedures and ensures an accurate record. They can't run from that.
Ensures an accurate record before
Yes,
they with that paper. But this is coming forth because of these royal decrees, Noble.
of course.
Don't you know these courts is about to close down? They're gonna have to receive information the way I've been our imperial court's been sending it.
Right.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
All
And for
that other
anybody who think
is not
that,
reliable.
huh?
All that other stuff is not reliable. They was able to say and do whatever with all that paper pushing, saying they didn't get it, and so on and so forth.
Right. Right.
Hmm. Yeah, it's over for them. These
Yeah.
courts about to close down. It ain't gonna be no brick and mortars. They gonna have to do it this way.
Yeah. And the
Warrant. Look,
laws.
warrant. Didn't you see I sent out a warrant?
Oh yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. These laws are written for us. They got us thinking, they got the masses thinking these laws are against you, right? They got you thinking positive law is good law, negative law is good law, actually, right? This is negative law. This negative law says that it brings negative connotations to the offenders of this law, right? So this isn't positive law, this is negative law, right? We live in a system of what do they call it? The adversarial justice, an adversarial judicial system. And the adversary is the government. That's why this law was written negatively, bringing negative connotations to the government agency. Warrants, summonses, common law, we do the same thing. This is now that we're out of interregnum, we really need to know that it's up to us to summons and issue warrants. And now that you can't run from me, and I send this by email, right? And I call you on the phone and I record that, you're done.
That's funny.
You're done. See, and then you start talking about the judges trying to make rulings and stuff. You hit them with that 28 USC 454, you shut them down with that. So right now, all they're running, the way they're running, when I ran across this, I dropped the mic because now I see, I spent $25 last week noticing one agent restricted return receipt, signature return receipt. This right here kills all that. All I got to do is write an email and send it.
No, but I told you that.
Hey, look, I'm just
You
right
just
now.
like you just like all the males. Y'all gotta hit y'all head. Y'all
Empress.
never want to listen to the mama.
Hey, Empress, one thing, the one thing about males that I can say is don't no male like another male to hike his leg up and piss on it, right? And that's what this pilgrim doing. This pilgrim done seen my paperwork. I'm still one who the Register of Deed is still calling my paperwork a legal sham, right? So,
Dang, that was how long ago?
I got she's defaulted out. You see what I'm saying? So that's
I,
been since I started. That was in June 20, right?
I thought you've been working on them.
I've
Them
been
people
working.
don't even exist no more. No, we don't have no adversaries around you. Trust me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm right now with this treasurer though. I got him. I found just by studying and going to the creator. I got his email address now.
Mm,
And now that
yeah,
I'm starting to talk about him, you hear the echo in the background?
yeah. Now you see. Now you see. Now you paying attention. All they
Yeah,
ask
the echo just
right.
started.
Nothing.
Say again, Noble?
The echo just started.
I know, man, as soon as I started talking about old dude. And now, since I brought it to the attention, it stopped.
I keep trying to tell y'all, you are what inquiring minds want to know. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well,
This is real funny. I'm getting a kick out of this one.
yeah, man. That's a good one there, man.
Look, look, and listen at this. Something just hung up. Y'all
No, no,
heard it?
no, no. That was my
Okay.
Dropbox is full. It came up.
I don't hear
Public.
nothing.
Look, listen to what this say. What you sent. Okay, the title of it is, first let me see. Let me read the title of it. The title of this is Rule 4.1, complaint warrant or summons by telephone or other reliable electronic means.
Yeah.
Then the spirit led me straight to this part. Let me read this. Changes made to proposed amendment released for public comment. Published subdivision. A. Refer to the action of a magistrate judge as, quote, deciding whether to approve a complaint, end of quote. To accurately describe the judge's action, it was rephrased to refer to the judge, quote, reviewing a complaint, end of
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah.
See, they was
Yeah.
over they bound and they just changed it to rephrase what it actually should be, that the judge is just reviewing the complaint, not deciding whether to approve the complaint, taking their powers away. Like they should have never had all of these powers.
Mm-hmm.
Place.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
But see, in this whole writing, what I took from it is again, you can a magistrate is a magician, right? So he has no force and effect of any authority, right? So since that's the case, when they start talking about the magistrate and his powers or his duty, they're talking to me because this cat has no a magistrate judge may consider information communicated by telephone or other reliable electronic means when reviewing a complaint or deciding whether to issue a warrant or summons. So that means this magistrate we already know is on the lower level of the court. You don't even have to have a degree or anything, right? Procedures. If a magistrate judge decides to proceed under this rule, the following procedures apply. Taking testimony under oath, the judge must place under oath any and may examine the applicant and any person on whose testimony the application is based, creating a record of the testimony and exhibits. See that once he does that, that magistrate then is on the hook as working as a judge, right? And all he can do is create that record, take testimony, but he can't really make no rulings because 28 USC 454 says any judge appointed by the United States, any judge or justice appointed by the United States found practicing law from the bench is guilty of high misdemeanors. So when you start looking at his duties as it pertains here, his hands is tied. The only thing he can do is create a record, take that phone call, that email, or that fax, listen to the other side, and then if you go in and that other side is the state, i.e., a sheriff, a deputy, a persecutor, then you shut him down with Transit versus Pagliaro. Where's the witness? Show the claim, and where's the witness? So I think with this 4.1, if everybody use this, I think this will help us out. We just now gotta find emails and fax numbers. I think once we get that, we can pass that out, and we start just sending decrees because I got his. Now I'm fixing to start sending him decrees because I got the email. You see? So that's my contribution to this thing tonight. Hopefully it'll help somebody, you know.
Ashe.
I should.
I say, could you give that
That's
case name again, please?
Trenzy,
I'm putting
TR.
in,
Okay, yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Hold on.
put in the group, Noble,
Okay,
also.
yeah, I will. Let's see. It's in the chat, matriarch.
Thank you. So we should be emailing these people and putting our electronic filing at the end of it.
Yeah, I know in the Empress, I see the Empress uses in her paperwork that I think it's 28 USC 1746, the unsworn declaration clause. And I think that says something to the effect, any any statement or affidavit given under the penalty of perjury is considered self-authenticated. You don't have to get a notary because it's self-authenticated. It has the force and effect of a notary because you're placing yourself under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yeah.
Empress, is that correct?
That's with an affidavit, but the email electronic statutes are at the bottom. I sign my signature.
Okay, yeah.
It's like 3 of them: international code for communication, for electronic communications are legal notes, and it's like 3 of them: 1 international and 2 federal.
So for like what the table is talking about, with that signature page, with that endorsement page, that 1746, would that work for that? You said that would be for affidavits, right?
Say it again, Noble.
On that page that the Tavis had, what that said he showed us,
You're muffled underwater.
okay, it says that the use of a notary does not, you know, the one that you put the disclaimer on where you use a notary doesn't put you in the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
That's
What about
1746. That would work somewhere around there. Is that correct?
1746? What's that?
That's that the unsworn declaration. I think is 28 USC 1746.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
on the same lines.
Okay.
But this one, I came up with that disclaimer in the event we had to get a notary.
Okay.
The notary is only used for identification purposes only, not to be putting us into any foreign jurisdiction.
Okay. So does anyone in the tribe have emails or fax numbers to the folks we are to contact? And if not, should we all go on a mission to get those pieces of information?
What do you mean?
The fax numbers, the emails, the electronic means of communication.
Oh yeah, I already sent you a bunch of them from the main contacts that we use.
Okay.
That's where I deal at, But I understand that you want to cover your bases and hit the
Empress, I'm
little.
gonna tell you, I don't have an Empress. I've looked too. I've looked in my email, and I've
What?
also the contact information for those folks. As far as I know who to, I'm just talking specifically about like a fax or an email address as it pertains to, this 4.1.
The forward. No, I sent you forward the ones that in the event that I need you to send something for
Yeah,
me.
okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
I
that.
I forwarded it to you so you see you have it in the forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you good, Datavius? You got everything clarified? Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm writing,
Okay.
going over stuff. And he said cover page. I was unsure what I should put for that.
You said you were also what?
Unsure for what I should put for my cover page.
You don't need a cover page.
Just leave it as it is.
It's already, the cover page is on there. I added it. That cover page on the reclamation should be 10 pages. Is your reclamation 10 pages?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the first page is the cover page. That's letting them know you
So
want
keep
that
it.
in the records where deeds and records are filed, correct? Where your property is.
And behind that is my room paper.
Say it again.
I say behind that is my maroon paper.
Where you keep saying maroon paper?
Cause I'm trying to keep it. Each paper has a different meaning.
Maroon paper. Why you call it that?
Yeah, cause that's the only one that's in maroon writing.
Oh, okay.
Instead of saying the whole name, AOR, I'm gonna say it like that, abbreviate it like that.
Aborigine. You talking about Aborigine Moors?
No. I'm talking about the affidavit
Oh, okay.
of revocation.
Okay, the revocation of contracts. Got you. Yeah, that's fine. You can call it that. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page with you.
Okay. So I'll put that as my page behind my cover page.
No, that's a whole different document. That don't go with the reclamation.
I don't have to take that with me.
Once you file a reclamation, you're gonna get it all. You can put that in the record as well, but it's gonna be a document after one document. Don't mix them up. Put your
Okay, so
reclamation first, and or you can put that affidavit on top, letting them know all contracts are canceled, and attach it to the reclamation, but put it on top. That's just an affidavit that you need to send out to the
period.
state and all of the ones I sent you. Anybody that you're doing business with in that state, letting them know you've corrected your status.